You reach a point, sooner or later, where the old way simply stops working. You wake one morning with that familiar knot in your chest, the one that whispers, "Try harder," and for a moment you believe it. You move through the day tightening every small muscle inside you, arranging conversations in your head, rehearsing outcomes, gripping the hours as if they might obey your touch. But life does not obey. Not anymore. Not in the way you hoped. You know this feeling. It's like trying to hold water in your hands. At first, you cup your palms carefully, believing if you just make the right shape, if you just keep still enough, you can keep what you love from slipping away. But the water thins. It leaks in thin silver lines between your fingers, and no matter how quickly you adjust, no matter how tightly you press, you end up staring at an empty palm, wet, shining, already cooling in the open air. There's a kind of tenderness in that moment, a quiet confusion. Not anger, not yet, just the soft, bewildered truth that something larger than you has taken the wheel without asking permission. You try again, of course. Everyone does. You walk the same stretch of beach in your mind, retracing the steps you once took with certainty. And you watch as the next wave rolls in, slow, unhurried, indifferent to your intention, and wipes your footprints clean. The path you worked so hard to mark dissolves in an instant, and you're left standing there with nothing but the hiss of water pulling back into itself. You breathe, hoping the breath might anchor you, might give you a sense of solid ground. But even the breath refuses to stay. It leaves the moment it arrives, in then out, presence then absence, like everything else that ever mattered. And somewhere in that rhythm, you begin to understand, not fully, not comfortably, honestly, that the collapse you're feeling isn't punishment. It's simply the end of your grip. You've been trying to fix life, to mend its edges, to steer its tides. But the tide was never yours. And here, in this stunned quiet, you can feel the truth settling around you like dusk. A truth that asks nothing. A truth that waits. A truth that breathes. There's a quiet truth you begin to see when the dust settles. The pain wasn't born from what happened. It was born from how tightly you held the version of life you wanted instead. You spend years building plans in your mind, careful blueprints of how the days should unfold, how people should behave, how the story should progress. And for a while, the plans feel solid. They give you direction, shape, a sense of movement. But life, with its strange sense of timing, closes doors you were sure would open. A letter you meant to send sits unsent on the kitchen table. A conversation you rehearsed never finds the right moment. The world keeps shifting without your consent, like a season that changes overnight, leaving you dressed for weather that's no longer there. You stand in the middle of all this, bewildered, hurting, not because the world has betrayed you, because you're still gripping the picture in your mind long after life has chosen another frame. Resistance is subtle. It isn't loud. It lives in the small ways you say no to what's already true. It's the way you replay a decision you can't undo. The way you imagine a different ending for a relationship that ended months ago. The way you brace yourself against a present moment that isn't asking for permission to exist. And here's the gentle irony. Nothing in reality is actually fighting you. The door that closed is simply closed. The person who left is simply gone. The season that changed is simply changing. The storm is outside, but the suffering is inside, created by the mind insisting that the storm should not be there. You watch this from a kind of inner window, as if peering through glass at weather you wish you could command. You tell yourself that if you think hard enough, read far enough, blame precisely enough, you might undo what already occurred. But reality is unmoved. It doesn't argue. It doesn't explain. It remains exactly what it is. And it's in that stubborn stillness that you finally see it. You're wrestling with a moment that has already happened. You're pushing against a closed door. You're pleading with a season that has already turned. You're trying to reshape the world by holding your breath. Suffering isn't the event. It's the refusal. It's the insistence that life should have followed your script, and when that insistence softens, just a fraction, just for a breath, the pain begins to loosen too. Because the moment you stop resisting what is already here, the moment you stop arguing with the undeniable, the suffering has nothing left to hold on to. There comes a moment, often so quiet you almost miss it, when you realize the struggle has nothing left to offer you. Not wisdom, not safety, not control, only exhaustion. You sit inside that tiredness long enough, and something unexpected begins to happen. A soft loosening, a shift in the center of your being, as if the tight fist inside your chest finally opens without asking your permission. For years, decades, perhaps, you believed peace would come after you solved everything, after you managed the people around you, after you repaired the past, after you shaped the future into something predictable. But peace doesn't arrive at the end of effort. It arrives at the end of resistance. It's a strange paradox, almost unreasonable on the surface. The moment you stop trying to control life, life starts holding you in a gentler way. You feel this in small, almost invisible moments. The way a river carries itself without arguing with the stones. The way tall grass bends under the wind without losing its own rootedness. The way the sky moves, slow, effortless, unconcerned with whether anyone is watching. There is no force in these things, only presence, only rhythm, only the quiet intelligence of letting what is be. You start to see that your attempts to dominate life were never strength, they were fear wearing the mask of determination. Fear that without your grip, everything would fall apart. Fear that surrender meant disappearing. Fear that acceptance meant giving up your place in the world. But look closer. When you loosen your hold, the world does not collapse. When you stop fixing, life does not fall into ruin. When you step back, the current doesn't drown you. It carries you. Peace isn't something you create. It's something you notice when you're no longer bracing. It rises slowly, the way dawn creeps across a field, soft light moving over old worries, revealing nothing monstrous, only the ordinary landscape that was always there beneath your fear. And in that light, you begin to trust a rhythm older than your plans, a rhythm that doesn't need your supervision, a rhythm that moves through you, not around you. You breathe in, you breathe out, and for the first time, feels natural, uncontrived, whole. Peace comes when you stop steering the river and let the river steer you. Let go and life holds. There comes a day, sometimes quietly, sometimes after a long night, when you notice that something inside you has stopped bracing, not because everything finally went your way, not because the world aligned with your wishes, but because you are no longer meeting life with clenched fists. The storm has passed, and though you're still damp from it, you're standing. A little tired, yes, but unmistakably standing. You look around and realize the world didn't end when you loosened your grip. The plans that fell apart did not take you with them. The disappointments that once felt unbearable have softened at the edges. And life, this life you once treated like a wild animal needing to be restrained, now feels more like a companion walking beside you at its own steady pace. Trust returns this way, not suddenly, not with trumpets or revelation, but like sunlight slipping back through the clouds after a long rain. At first, it's faint, a warmth on your cheek, a small clearing in the sky. You almost don't believe it. You're used to watching the horizon for trouble, but then the light widens, touches more of you, and you realize you're no longer waiting for the next battle. This is the harmony acceptance makes possible. A tree doesn't apologize for bending in the wind. It doesn't interpret the storm as punishment or omen. It simply endures, roots deepening with each passing season. And when the air finally stills, the tree doesn't cling to the memory of being shaken. It just stands, quiet, open, alive. So do you. Softening happens in the chest. The breath no longer feels like a task. You are no longer trying to prove something to the day or to the person you used to be. You move through the hours with a gentler awareness, noticing the small mercies you once overlooked. The calmness of a room after you enter it, the way your own voice has lost its edge, the simple relief in not having to manage every moment. This is trust, not blind faith, not wishful thinking, an intimate recognition that life has never truly been against you. It has only been asking you to release the illusion that you must carry everything alone. You feel it now, don't you? That golden quiet settling over you, the way the air feels just after the rain stops, fresh, forgiving, full of possibility. And in that gentle space, without effort, without fear, something inside you finally exhales. The light returns when you stop resisting the dawn. There is a stillness you come to, not by chasing it, not by mastering some hidden practice, but by letting all the frantic reaching fall away. It arrives the way evening settles on the ocean, in slowly, evenly, without demanding your attention. And before you realize it, you're no longer fighting the current. You're simply floating in it. This quiet being doesn't feel dramatic. It feels natural, almost familiar, as though you've returned to something you never actually left. You sit inside yourself the way a wave sits inside the sea, moving yet unmoved, changing shape yet unchanged in essence. There is no urgency here, no need to correct, to justify, to grasp. Only a soft awareness that what you've been seeking was never somewhere else. You begin to live in a gentler rhythm. Your hands open without effort. Your breath drifts in and out without instruction. The horizon no longer feels like a destination to reach, a simple reminder that life extends beyond anything you can name. You look at the world, and the world looks back without tension. Just two expressions of the same quiet presence. In this space, striving becomes unnecessary, not because you've given up, but because the one who was always striving has grown silent. The old inner narrator, forever planning, forever warning, ever measuring, fades into the background like waves dissolving into the wider sea. What remains is a simple, spacious awareness that doesn't cling to the moment or push it away. It lets each experience rise and fall on its own, like tides guided by a moon you no longer need to understand. You start to see that peace was never hidden. It was only crowded out by all the effort to feel peaceful. When the effort drops, peace doesn't appear. It reveals itself as the ground you've been standing on the whole time. There is no triumph in this, no victory to celebrate. Only a quiet union with the natural order of things, a belonging so complete it needs no explanation. You are not steering the wave. You are the movement itself. You are the stillness beneath the movement. You are the open space in which everything comes and goes. And as you rest in that truth, without attempting to hold it or name it, something spacious opens inside you, an emptiness that feels like the gentlest kind of fullness. You breathe, and there is only peace.